What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GameChat, the video game variety show brought to you by Borderline Entertainment. I am your host, Asa Green River, and I am joined by two amazing people who have put up with technical difficulties, my idiosyncrasies with timing, and just a whole bunch of hubbubaloo. I am joined by, of course, Nate Pressler. Welcome, Nate. How are you?
Oh, happy Spring Forward Day.
Happy freaking Spring Forward Day. And our wonderful guest, the one and only Jenny Windom. Jenny, how are you?
I am good. Yeah, happy Spring Forward Day. I think we're all a little bit off kilter just because of that hour we lost. It's not just you.
I think off kilter is like putting it too nicely. I'm just gonna throw that out there. We're being too nice if we're saying off kilter because it has been a oozy of a doozy. As you see, we're starting at 3 p.m. Actually, no, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Whoa, my computer's wrong. Wow, my computer can't get it together. I can't get it together. It's 4 o'clock. Usually we start at 3. Who knows what's happening. But we're going to give you the tightest, most bestest show you've ever seen in your entire life. But Before we jump into it, Jenny, if people don't know you, who the heck are you? Why are you here?
Why am I here? No, hi everybody. My name is Jenny. I also go by Kimchika online, and folks may know me from a couple of different points because I have a lot of things I sort of like to dabble in the game industry in particular. I work for Rose City Games. I'm the communications manager there. I do all of the community and social and all the stuff that allows me to just talk about games and have a blast doing it for the studio. I also work at Kowloon Nights, where I do the communications and help advise and look at indie games to hopefully provide them funding. And I also create content. So I stream. My life is about indie games, really. I stream indie games. I talk about indie games. I just love the industry, and I want more people to be able to play and enjoy these games like I do.
Not only that, you put out a tweet recently about a TikTok that, again, is bringing you back to indie games and having that awesome focus. And they are your production quality on TikToks makes me never want to post another TikTok in my life.
No, post on TikTok. It's such a great, I could honestly talk a fair amount about the platform. I've been having a lot of fun playing with it. I've just been sort of dabbling, and it's been neat seeing all the people there who are also excited about games and getting excited about some of the ones that I've been sharing on the platform.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here, and we're going to talk about games today. We're going to talk about a heck of a lot of games. So we're going to start things off with Newsbies. Now, we've got 3 items on the docket, and like I said, we're going to keep things tight. So folks, if you've been watching and listening to Game Chat for a while, we go through the news topics and we rate them. Absolute boredom, mild interest, definite intrigue, or extreme hype, or some sort of variant in between. So we're going to start things off with, of course, the elephant in the room, the big green elephant. Xbox bought Bethesda. The thing that people were so afraid of, and so far it seems like it's not going to be that big of a deal. But this story is coming from Chris Plante. Chris, if you're listening, you're probably not. Tell me if I said your name wrong. But this is on Polygon. We're just going to talk about some of the specifics here. So Bethesda, if you didn't know, produces some of the most popular franchises in the history of video games, including The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom. If Microsoft wanted to acquire a ton of beloved properties with one purchase, then it found it in the perfect publisher. And I think, at least I'm going to say, this is one of the biggest moves in gaming, period. Because I'm a massive Bethesda fan. I don't know how the rest of you feel. But either way, all of the games are showing up on Game Pass now, and they have even talked that some of the games are going to be exclusives. Not all of them. We don't know exactly which ones. I don't think that Microsoft would necessarily do that, but I'm extreme hype about this because I think it only is going to bring more games to more people. I think about the cost perspective, but what do you all think? Where are you at within that ranking platform?
I mean, God, it is a huge move. It is really big. I think on one hand, I'm like really excited because the ability for people to access these games, like you said, on Game Pass, is really good. I'm really curious about the business side of things, to be honest, because I'm just wondering like what's going to happen with Bethesda underneath Microsoft. I'm always interested in sort of that when a company acquires another company, what's going to happen within there? Because as you know, whenever buyouts like that happen, whenever acquisitions happen, down the line, I think we're going to be maybe seeing some stuff happening with maybe the titles. I'm not sure how that'll fall out, but I'm very intrigued. I'm like cautiously hopeful, but I'm very intrigued.
I like how you said Fallout. Like you like put in like a nice like game reference
Yeah.
for Bethesda. I like that. I'm pretty hyped about it because and Asa, you've made fun of me before. I now have like more consoles than just the Nintendo Switch, so I can finally play these games. And having Game Pass, it will give me a reason to play more on my Xbox. Finally, play Skyrim for the first time. I'm super excited about that. But I think for the most part, it's really cool. There's a lot of like the console wars and like who's gonna perform better, who has the better exclusives, and it's cool that Microsoft made this gamble. What does that mean for the future, though? I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see if I'm not as familiar with Bethesda games, but I'm wondering if Microsoft will eventually use this, because I know PlayStation, like I love PlayStation, and I usually stick with PlayStation when it comes to picking consoles because of the exclusivity of a lot of the games, which is not so great for consumers, but you understand why each console has it. And I'm wondering if Microsoft is thinking of doing similar things. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not part of Microsoft, but I'm wondering if eventually they might be seeking to create some IPs that are exclusive for Xbox through the Bethesda teams.
Yeah, I could definitely see them doing that because Lord knows that Xbox needs exclusives. Like, say what you will about the impact of exclusivity on the industry, but to me that's what sells a platform. I'm also platform agnostic. I've got all the consoles. I play everything, but like you said, like my PlayStation, I love God of War. Like I love The Last of Us. I love Bloodborne. I love all of those games that make that so special. Like just think about like if the Switch didn't have Mario and Zelda, I mean, would people care? They might not. So I think while it might be frustrating for some, I think Xbox needs it. So the power play couldn't have come at a better time. But keeping it within the Xbox branding here, the next item on the docket, Xbox Series X, S, and the Xbox One are getting an update to their browser. I don't know who uses the browser on a console, but if you do, this is probably perfect for you. But here's the interesting wrinkle. The browser supports Stadia. So the thing, Xbox buying Bethesda, because I believe I am blanking on the gentleman's name at the moment now, but said that merger is pretty much what like killed Stadia. So to now see Stadia playable on Xbox, man, what a low blow. I don't think it was intentional, but
yeah, it's
so sad. So sad.
Stadia,
Rip.
They tried, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do either of you care about Stadia? Is this something like I'm curious? Like, if you're out there, if you're listening, please let us know. Like, have you tried playing Stadia on your Xbox with the browser? Does it work?
I honestly forget that there's a browser on consoles.
I do
like
too.
I didn't even remember that was a thing until I read this article. But also, I don't know. I don't play Stadia. I was never interested. Again, I have the benefit of like I have a really great gaming PC. I have consoles, so that's never been something for me. But this for me, if we're going by, let me get the hierarchy out. This was like a mild interest at best story for me, because I was like, I think Stadia is just kind of on its way out.
Yeah.
It's just so like I always forget about Stadia until a story comes out, and then I go, oh yeah, there's Stadia, which is terrible, and I feel bad about it. But
don't feel bad.
This article was talking how Amazon Luna can be played through it too, and then I was like, oh yeah, Amazon also has something that's like Stadia.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm gonna be absolute boredom, just to be completely honest, because I think when both of those services were announced, everyone was like, this is not the way it's gonna work, and then here we are now, and it's like, it's not the way it's going to work. So
I'm definitely intrigued just because I want to know how it works. I don't care about Stadia. I played it. I have my controller. I don't know where it is. I had my fill. I'm done. I'm interested in Luna, but yeah, I just want to know how it works. And then the last item on the docket, the MPD group finally released some numbers, some crunchy numbers. Do either of you care about MPD?
I mean, for like the business side of things, I'll read it just for game dev stuff.
I didn't think about that. I was as a numbers nerd, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love MPD numbers. They're just so much fun. So this is coming from Screen Rant by Kyle Wheelock. The PS5 is now the fastest selling console in U.S. history in total dollar sales. So the latest reports comes just a couple months after it was announced that the PS5 was January's best-selling console by the U.S. In the U.S. by the same firm, MPD Group. Despite being continuously difficult for the average customer to actually find, super freaking hard, the PS5 has already pulled in a colossal amount of sales revenue. In January alone, the PS5 raked in up to $170 million. Oh my gosh, from sales.
That's so much.
That's a lot of dollars.
Wow. Breaking, and I think you have to keep in mind the price point there, but breaking the Nintendo Wii's 12-year record. Though these are just US figures, the console has performed similarly well while having the same stock and production constraints in most regions overseas. So either way you look at it, it is definitely impressive. I'm going to take extreme hype to be extreme blown away. I can't believe that it smashed sales records like that. But if you look at the inflation of like the price of a console at launch, it makes sense because they've already gotten a jump on the Wii, like they stated in that article. But beating out the Switch is still a big deal because the Switch was huge.
Yeah. The Switch was like kind of the golden child of the quarantine too.
Yes.
Like it was hard to find again. And so to be able to beat that, it's like how the Avengers just got beat out by James Cameron's Avatar in the box office again, which I'm really bitter about. That's going to go down a rabbit hole, so I'm going to put a pin in it. But like, whatever gets James Cameron happy. But I would say that my, like, taking into account too, like, that's just even all like the bots who purchased it, not even counting all the people who like myself bought it off of a human who had purchased it. So then there are 2 transactions happening per so many consoles. And so it's interesting to see like that number has to only be like a tiny part of like how much money has actually been spent on PlayStation 5s this year.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely blown away too. So extreme hype in the sense that I'm also blown away because it's like, you just smashed so many records, and that's not even including, that's like streaming numbers versus like live TV watching numbers. Like not everything's being factored in right now too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm also really impressed considering the fact that, we've had shortages, so it's not even at the full capacity of how many people like want to purchase it. It's just how many have really gotten it in their hands. So I'm really interested to see. We were talking about it right before the show, but I haven't picked up a PS5 yet. I'm holding out until the holiday season because I'm like, maybe there'll be something cool that comes out, as a pack. But honestly, seeing this, I'm like, will I be able to get it? Because if the hype is still there, if the interest is still there, like it might still be a really hot ticket item this holiday season. Not to mention the games that are going to be releasing this coming season that are going to just reinvigorate the need for the console and people wanting to upgrade.
Yeah, because as of right now, they haven't said that either of these games were delayed, but Horizon 2 and God of War 2 are theoretically still slated for 2021.
Oh, I hope one of them at least, both of them, yes, but I hope at least one of them has to.
I think at least Horizon's probably going to happen. But let us know in the chat. How do you feel about these Newsbies stories? Are you extreme hype? Are you definite intrigue, mild interest, or just absolute boredom? But we're going to, I almost said it again, shake those willies off, but that's not a thing. I now know.
So you're about to get dragged again.
I know, it's shake the sillies out? Off? Now I forget. Oh my gosh. I need to just leave it. Just leave it alone. Okay, it's time for Game That Tune. Where where you all give us a suggestion of a song in a game. I'm going to play it for the panelists, and they have to try and guess and figure out what's the song, who's the composer, what is the title of the game that the song is in. I got to put these in order. And then can they, for bonus points, name the section of the game that the song plays? Wow. Yeah, that's bonus points. So you'll get smaller points if you can get all of these. If you can get the three main, like what's the name of the song, who wrote it, and just like what game is in it, you'll just get regular points. And then bonus points, of course, the section of the game. But all right.
Okay.
I've got the song queued up, and you'll get what'll happen is I'll play like 10 to 15 seconds. I'll pause the song, and then you got a chance to buzz in and figure out what it is. So, Nate, are you ready? Jenny, are you ready?
I'll buzz in.
Okay.
Oh, do we have to like hit something?
We
raise
don't.
Our hand. Yell?
I wasn't able to send you a buzzer in the mail. UPS was backed up.
The special borderline.
Yep, the borderline buzzer wasn't ready. Dang it! I gotta. You know what? Write that down. Borderline buzzer.
Merch
That's
idea.
mine now.
I would love that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, just smack, wave, scream, make a buzzing sound, whatever you got to do to get my attention. But that'll be after the... We'll go 15 seconds to give you a little extra time to try and figure out what the song is. Here we go. All right. What do you got?
Buzz?
All right. Nate's buzzing in.
Is it from Splatoon?
It is from a Splatoon game. I can't give you points for that. But since you prematurely buzzed, that automatically gives it to Jenny. Well, you didn't prematurely buzz. You buzzed with an answer. That's
this
okay.
Time I have not prematurely buzzed.
That's true. You did have an actual legitimate answer. But Jenny, it's to you now.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking it was Splatoon, but that was also where my brain stopped because it's the most like hype sounding game that I think I've ever played.
Mm-hmm. And we now know it is a Splatoon game.
Yeah. Oh, but you never said which Splatoon.
So it could be 1, 2, or it could be the Octo expansion.
I'm going to guess 2.
It is 2. Now, can you name the composer,
oh gosh,
the name of the song, and for the bonus points, the part of the game that it plays? I don't think anybody is going to get this.
I am like totally, I could make up names, but
make an educated guess, go for it.
Like, I mean, for song title, we could call it like Paint Pizzazz. I don't know.
Paint Pizzazz. No.
Not it.
We're just going to say that that's not it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But it's open, Nate. Do you have any ideas on the name of the song? The part that the song plays? Or the composer? I think the composer actually might be another bonus one because that's equally as difficult. There are some games that are pretty easy to pinpoint, but there's some that are pretty difficult.
I feel like it has to be like a loading screen or like a result screen or like something that's like a tertiary part of the game. But I could not tell you what part of the game.
All right, can I tell you? Because I'm so excited. Okay, so the song is called Fishing Frenzy. It is from Splatoon 2, and it's the song that plays when you have the influx of more bosses coming in during Salmon Run.
Oh my gosh. I had the alliteration down.
Yep.
I knew where the composer was thinking at least. Wait, so who wrote the song?
Well, that's where I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I exit out of the song screen. I was ready to tell you, and then I prematurely closed it out, so negative points for me. All right.
Jenny could have just made someone up and then gotten the point.
Yeah,
I
pretty
should
much.
have. Dang it.
Pretty much. But if you have, yes, shake the sillies out. Thank you in the chat. Thank you so much for that clarification. But if you have a game that tune, song suggestion that you want to deliver to us for future panelists, you can. All you have to do is fill out the form that'll be in the description of this video on YouTube. I don't know if I can actually... Do you guys know, can you put links within the description of a Twitch VOD? I don't know.
I think you can. I mean, technically you can put the text of it. I don't know if it actually turns it into a link.
Interesting.
That's a good question.
Interesting. I'll put it in there. You can click it or you can copy it, but there you can fill out for all of our sections. We're going to move on to what's in the box. What is in your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Switch, your PC, your phone, your handheld? What are you playing right now, Jenny?
I play, just as a caveat, I play many games at a time, partially because I stream, and so that, you know, I have like my stream games, my fun games.
Right.
I have been going through Outer Wilds. I'm like this close to finishing it. If you haven't heard of Outer Wilds, it's developed by Mobius Games, published by Annapurna, and it starts as just an exploring space game, and you're like, oh, I get to explore space. This is great. Then there is a time loop event that happens, and a mystery comes up, and it just is the most wild game I think I've ever played. Like, I have had so many moments where my jaw has dropped. I've been blown away. I don't think I've had an experience in games like it, to be honest. And I don't want to overhype, but now I just realized I did.
Wow.
It's like the best mystery game I think I've ever played.
It's
hands down.
definitely a good one. You're selling me and make me want to go back. I started Outer Wilds, and then I jumped to Outer Worlds, and I'm like, whoa, completely different. I was very curious, and then I didn't finish either of them. So
it's one that, because I was thinking about it, because I like to recommend games to people. Like, I find it very fun, and it's one of those games that I actually would not recommend to everyone, but for people who are willing for that like slow burn, because the first couple of hours I was just kind of like, I'm discovering a lot, but what does any of it have to do with each other? And after a certain point in the game, the game does nothing to really guide you there. I think that's where it's like both, it's a strength and a weakness. But if you are able and willing to like put in the time to start connecting the dots, it's got some of the best some of the best leads and just hint system. Like, it's not a hint system though. It just places information there for you in such a beautiful way. I don't think I've seen a game do it like Outer Wilds has.
sold.
I'll have to add it to my queue.
Yep.
It's really
You
good.
sold it. You sold it. Like, I love a good mystery. Add some space in there.
Yeah. And it's funny because I normally don't like space games. Like, normally I don't like it just sort of gives me a mini existential crisis a little bit, kind of like Subnautica, but under the sea.
Yep.
And then something about space games always, I feel like a lot of them have a lot to do with like the tech of space. And I think the more interesting part is like the stuff we don't know, that like element of awe and curiosity. And so Outer Wilds leans more towards that versus the tech that we normally see in space games. And I think I really appreciated that.
Nate, what are you playing?
Oh man, I after 97 hours beat the main part of Persona 5, and so I'm going to dive into the next semester at some point. What a wild ride in the best way possible. So I played that. I can't think about anything other than that, but I am dabbling still in like Spider-Man Miles Morales. Just I'm not focusing on like the story right now, but more so just like some of like the like completionist parts. I need to get back into that world, but I feel like I have to see Persona all the way through now because
you do.
Here we are. But yeah, no, I've been playing those. I have been trying to do a little bit of like Champions Road for Mario 3D World, but you can only swear at your Nintendo Switch so many times before you want to put it down and not break it. So that one's really not as often. But Asa, what about you?
Yeah, still grinding away Ring Fit Adventure. I'm on World 4 now. I just finished World 3 this morning, and that was a doozy. And they keep on. I'm just constantly surprised at how deep that game gets. Like, I already knew that like the battle system was something, but unlocking powers, and I don't think it's like spoilery, but anyways, like certain workouts will be more effective against certain enemies, and then you get crafting, and there's just there's a lot more to it than what I expected, and I wish I had like the time and availability to play every single day, but right now I'm at like 3 to 4 times a week, so I feel like I'm like maybe like a fourth getting the physical benefit that I need to be getting from it. But yeah, still having a ton of fun with that. Of course, same with Jenny, like my stream games, those are what they are, still grinding away at all of those. But I think the game that I'm still putting in tons of hours into when I have so many other things to play is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I finished all of the Splinter Cell DLC. It was so good. It made me continue to miss the Splinter Cell franchise. I might go back and replay that whole mission set again because it's just done so well. But now I'm onto the Rainbow Six stuff. So there is a Rainbow Six storyline, and it completely changes the game world. It's just so dynamic, and I could go on, but I already have about that game. So maybe I just need to like create some soapbox for me to just rant about that game for an hour about all of the unique things within it that people need to try out. That it's just so cool. But what are you all playing? Let us know in the chat, in the comments below on the YouTube video, or if you're listening to this on podcast services. I realize that you don't innately have a place to put feedback, so just connect with us on social media and tell us what you're playing. What should we try out that we're not already playing? So, enough about playing games. Let's make a game. It's time for Make It or Break It. And this is where you all in the community give us a suggestion on a type of game that you want us to make, and then we do it. And our game director for this episode is the one and only Jenny. So,
oh my goodness,
you get all of the power. Yeah, no pressure. You get the power.
Oh no.
So we will collaborate and we'll come up with stuff. But if Nate and I are just butting heads and we can't come to a conclusion, you get final say.
Awesome.
So there's a handful of things we have to come up with. We have to come up with who's making it, who's publishing it, what's the story, what's the title, how does it play, and then we give it back to the community to create box art. So thank you so much, AlleyCatJ7, for this prompt. Now, they gave the suggestion of spirit animal, but I'm going to throw it like this just because I'm a Native American indigenous man. And so if I will say this caveat, if we're going to do a spirit animal, then we need to make it true to indigenous. But I don't necessarily think that is what AlleyCatJ7 had in mind, just because I've interacted with AlleyCat. So I'm thinking, let's just do animals, like favorite animals. So a game that is centered, focused around animals, our favorite ones. Let's go with that.
Well, the big question is, what are our favorite animals?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of my favorite animal right now, or one that I'd want to see in a game.
My favorite is the polar bear.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, polar bears are my favorite.
Every good video game has a good ice level.
Yeah.
It's true.
So.
Initially, I was thinking a game kind of like Tokyo Jungle, just because you only play as animals and the only NPCs in the world are animals. But then I don't want the animals fighting each other. And that's like Tokyo Jungle is I don't know if either of you have played it. I think it's just a PlayStation exclusive. It was just like in the store on PSN, on PS3. And you start off playing as like a small like chihuahua, and you just have to survive in this like post-apocalyptic Tokyo. And all the humans are dead. There's like toxic waste everywhere, and it's just like survival of the fittest. So you have to like fight and defend yourself. And as you like level up and you gain experience, you can like change your animal. So like you can then play through the game as a dog or a bear or a lion or a tiger or whatever. So Tokyo, it's a total hidden gem. I love Tokyo Jungle, so much fun. So my thought is something like that, to where like people are gone, animals rule the world again, but I want them all to be friends. I don't want them to fight each other. Or if there's,
I'm very okay with that.
or if there's conflict, make it to where like it's like a Professor Layton or something like that, to where there's like mystery involved, Detective Pikachu or
Yeah.
or something where there's conflict between animals, but it's just not aggressive. Like put him in a courtroom for goodness sakes. So
Oh my
So like a
gosh.
zoo, like baseline of like animals fighting, like Zootopia is probably still a little too on the dark side of that.
I think we could go Zootopia. Everything is just assumed. You just don't see it. You don't see the violence. You just kind of know it's
That's
there.
fair.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm honestly still just on Tokyo Jungle and how I have not played this game. And now I'm just like, I need to play this now.
I highly recommend it. Anybody listening, both of you, find a way to play Tokyo Jungle. It is
It's awesome.
You can go back to it as many times as you want, but you could easily play it on like a Sunday afternoon. Wink, wink. So
Yeah.
after this, go play it.
I mean, I hear polar bear and I'm just like, could we just have like all kinds of bears in this game? Is that weird? I'm like, I love
not
like
weird.
grizzly bears. We could have like, I mean, pandas are kind of bears. I think
They are.
technically
They
maybe
are.
they're bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Capybaras aren't bears, but I think capybaras are still cute, so they could be honorary bears. So I think
What
a
if
world
it's
of
like
bears?
What if it's like a We Bare Bears,
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
Ooh.
but without the IP? Because I don't want to
Right.
pay for licensing. But
No,
That's
we're let's rip We Bare Bears,
we're just gonna
We're the-
completely rip it.
but it's not We Bare
Ooh.
Bears. Yeah.
I know who I want to make it, but I gotta look up the game to see who they are. But
Um,
throw out your suggestions.
Yeah, no, because I don't know. I'm like, if we have lots of cuddly bears, they're doing their thing around the world. I don't know. They could solve crime in the courtroom.
I could do it like a crime solving bear. Like I could be down for that. And then we could
Yeah.
do like bears from like each region or like each country, and then they have like kind of like the same kind of like societal like. I'm thinking of like Bravo, who's the black bear mascot for Taipei City in Taiwan, and
Oh
just
my
has like the
gosh.
adorable like Pikachu rosy cheeks.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all like mascot bears that solve crimes in the courtroom.
International crimes. I'm here for it.
How do we feel about Infinite Fall being the developer?
Infinite Fall. Let me see.
Infinite Fall was the developer behind Night in the Woods. I know that Finji was the
The publisher.
publisher.
That'd be cool. It's like I love the folks at Finji.
Mhm.
So that would be very fun. They would I feel like because it would be like whimsical, but I feel like have you know how Pixar movies have that layer of humor that's like for the adults.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be that where it's like it looks cute, but if you look deeper, the sense of humor is maybe a little bit more adult sounds like
Yeah.
dramatic, but you know.
Also,
it's
shout out
it's
to
got a
Harris
grown-
Foster. What a cool guy.
Harris is really cool.
We met once at an indie convention here in Columbus, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised you've never been, Jenny. You claim you like indie
I
games, but you've never
know.
come to
God.
GDEX, but whatever.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Yeah,
We'll hopefully change it in the next year.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was thinking, I like their art style, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of have like that Pixar thing going where it's gorgeous animation, but it does have that like adult undertone. But as a kid, you wouldn't necessarily pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I like this.
publisher, would we stay in house and keep it with Finji, or? I mean, if you want to pull rank here, since you are the game director, and you also kind of represent.
I mean,
mean,
I
I don't want to say
feel
the
like-
words, but
I feel like my duty is at least to offer up Rose City games.
thank you. There it is.
Work
I didn't
for
want to
Rose
do
City.
it. You did. Thank you. That's on you. Okay.
But I am all for working with the team to finding the best publisher that we all could agree on.
Perfect. But for now, Rose City Games.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I honestly think if we did a fun like Bears crime solving game, that would be fun for us.
Yep.
Like, let me talk after the podcast. Let me bring this idea to them.
Now, as long as Nate and I can at least can we consult on it?
Of course.
I just want to have my name in the credit.
Now.
That's
you are
it.
part of the team.
So we need a name. We need a title.
Oh gosh.
I'm looking up bear puns right now.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
trying
say
to find
my
the perfect
default
one.
is puns, so I'm like barely there. I don't know. It's that's where my brain goes.
But for real, barely there.
It's like the clues, right? Like
Yes.
it's barely there.
I like it.
Okay. I think that might be another one of Game Chat. I don't know if it's a Game Chat first, if it's like the fastest game we ever made, but it's pretty close. We'll have to go back and look, but it feels pretty close. So barely there.
It sounds like a little bit like there might be dating involved too, which I mean, I'm not mad if we also incorporate like some friendship dating systems. Bears gotta find love too. Solve crime, find love.
Can we have a subtitle? Can we have it like barely there? Subtitle: International Pandemonium, because then you can go across the world solving these crimes.
Can we make that a DLC?
Yeah,
that's
I was gonna say
panda
this
themed.
makes it perfect for like any expansion we want. We just choose the different bear to feature in each DLC, and Pandemonium is the first.
Yes,
I think that's perfect.
That's it. That's the money. That's the money
right,
shot.
Everyone quit your day jobs. We're making this. This IP.
I feel like this fits within your day job, Jenny. So, if anything, you'd be like, all right, Nate, Asa, cut the strings. We're going to Rose City. Done. All right. That's, you know what? We made the game. Now it's up to you all in the community. We need some art. I know that there are talented artists out there. I'm looking at you, Alice. I'm looking at you, Ro. I'm looking at so many other people. Philip, like, can we get some decent box art for this game? Don't let us down. We have to send this pitch to Rose City so that Jenny has some fuel behind the fire that is our passions. But it's time for Nate to redeem himself, because right now he's got a goose egg on the board. It's time for Big Bet Trivia.
Oh, no.
I don't have music for it. All right, Nate.
Can we just like clip that and have that be the official theme song?
That was the music. I heard it.
You know, for when it goes up on YouTube and it's in the podcast services, there is a little music that goes on behind it. Oh, this is going to be so easy. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, don't say that.
Last time it was very hard.
I feel now I'm like, oh gosh,
okay, but this one just gives it away. All right. The rules are pretty simple. We are playing Ultimate Video Game Trivia. You all can play at home if you go buy it yourself. But I will read the question. One of you will buzz in. You'll get an option to answer. If you get it wrong, automatically goes to the next person. If that person gets it wrong, we go into the hint rounds. Well, then I'll give you hints, and then we'll just keep going. 3 rounds, 3 strikes, you're out, whatever. If you don't get it after 3 hints, it's a complete draw. Cool?
All right, cool.
All right, here we go. In 2018... Oh, sorry. In which 2018 video game does player character Madeline try to climb a mountain despite being hindered by a dark version of herself?
Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing, bing.
Bing, 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 bing. Yes.
Buzzing it.
Yes, Jenny. Bing, bing, bing.
Celeste.
Celeste.
Such a good game.
It is such
That's
a good
it.
game.
In a complete upset, Nate has lost every single bit of points.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I was rooting for Nate to get the Celeste one, but I wasn't sure.
I'm scared to buzz in now because last week I prematurely buzzed and didn't get all the points. So I'm just like, I'll wait for someone else to buzz.
Listen, that's where you just go balls to the wall, buzz, throw it out there. You know what? Prematurely do it. That's never gotten anybody in any trouble ever. Okay. Never. Now we're going to get into... We're starting to round things up, and I think we're going to have like 10 minutes for party chat. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. We're just going to have fun. We're going to hang out for a little bit. Let's look at video game releases for the month of March, and I'm just going to read them off. Now, obviously not all of them because there's seriously so many, but you two are just going to pick the ones that stand out to you the most, or the one that you are the most excited about. So I know it's very difficult because we just love video games. That's why we're all here. But let's just pick one. Okay. Harvest Moon, One World comes to Switch. Maquette. You know, is it Maquette?
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Maquette.
Victoria Tran, you are from Canada. You know French, and you didn't help me out. Jenny had to come up and pick up the slack.
Oh no!
It is Maquette.
Sorry, V.
Too late.
I didn't mean to throw you under the bus.
Too late. Under the bus she goes. I asked her for help, and she left me hanging.
The first case of the Bears is unbearable.
Yes.
Pandemonium.
Yakuza Like a Dragon comes to PS5. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 coming to PC. Loop Hero, I keep hearing about that. Sea of Solitude Director's Cut. Apex Legends coming to Switch. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, coming to Switch and next-gen platforms. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning coming to Switch. RBA Baseball 21. I'm like, I can't believe that's still going. Stubbs the Zombie and Rebel Without a Pulse. Please play Stubbs. It's so good. Marvel's Avengers gets its next-gen update. Plants vs. Zombies, Battle for Neighborville. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. Paradise Lost, Black Legend. Dandy Ace, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise. Evil Genius 2, World Domination. The Kingdom Hearts series coming to PC. Drifters and Binding of Isaac, Repentance coming to PC at the end of the month. What sticks out to everybody?
I think there were two that really stuck out to me. Three, sort of. Can I pick three? Is that even allowed?
I mean, you know what?
You said at
this
the beginning
point,
one.
do what you got to do. Pick your three.
Loop Hero, I think I play the demo of it. I feel like I that's going to be a game I play a ton and then just like stop all of a sudden, to be honest. But
Absolutely.
Everyone's super hyped about that game. The Story of Seasons game, I'm a Story of Seasons like super fan. I love farming sims, so I'm really excited for that. But honestly, Maquette is probably the number one for me because I love puzzle games, and it's published by Annapurna, who curates their catalog so well. So Maquette probably, if I had to choose the number one.
In talking about Maquette, we've got a review coming from Borderline Entertainment this week.
Ooh.
So yeah, shout out to Shannon for writing that review. Nate,
Hey.
what's your game?
I am dabbling in Maquette right now and really enjoy it. So that's going to be up there. I know last time I said the Avengers Next Generation release. I'm going to put that by the wayside though. And I remembered while you were reading off the list that I do have Crash Bandicoot on my Xbox. And so I'm going to replay that now with the next gen upgrade. So
Awesome.
I forgot how hyped I am about that now.
You know what? Me too. Except I play it on PlayStation because that's where Crash started. I'm weird. But I'm probably going to go with Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning because I didn't pick it up when it initially came out. I don't know why. The original is a fantastic game, so I'm excited for this remake or remaster. But I don't know if I'll play it on Switch. I'll probably play it on Xbox. But play Stubbs the Zombie. All right. We've picked our favorite games. We've battled it out. We've gushed about games, period. It's time to wrap things up. But first, we need to shout out somebody in the community that's doing something awesome. It's our community spotlight. And on this episode, we're spotlighting Ian Why Not. Fantastic editor. Also has the Anime Plus podcast. And just is an all-around awesome dude. So please go check out Ian's stuff. He's incredible. But Jenny, what are you doing? What do you want people to check out? Where should they go?
Oh gosh, I stream a lot of the time, so a lot of evenings. So if you wanted to hang out with me as I gush about indie games, play them, talk about them, I'm working on like a little indie showcase thing just for my stream that I want to do for fun. That's at twitch.tv/Kimchika. And if folks want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Kimchika25. It's the only place I'm not just Kimchika. And
Brandon.
I'm working at Rose City Games. So if you follow us, we have two titles that we're really focusing on right now. We're publishing Garden Story, which is this really cute game about a grape that just wants to like help their community. And it's very much like got a Zelda-y feel, a little bit of like touches of, that sort of Stardew Valley farming sim kind of feel. And then we're also making Floppy Nights, which is a card game mashed up with a tactics game. So it's really, really fun and snappy. And even if you're not a fan of card games, I personally am not a huge fan of card games, and I think it's really fun. So that's what I'm really focusing on right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. And Nate, where can people find you?
Yeah, Jenny, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. You can find me on all the social channels at the Nate Pretzel, like the food. And I'll be probably decompressing all of the non-romanceable options in Persona 5, and that's where we're at.
And you can find me at agreenriver07 on Twitter. But if you can, please go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, podcast services, Twitch. Well, you're already here. Follow Borderline Entertainment everywhere. Please stay in the know. We have content constantly coming out, and we would love your support. And we would love to have you in the community. But thank you again, Jenny, so much for being on. We appreciate you greatly. We're going to end the show and then switch over for a very rapid-fire good time and party chat. But until next time, be well, Borderline family.